What's happening, people? Today's lesson is adding and subtracting fractions. In today's lesson, I will cover how to add and subtract proper fractions, so where the numerator is smaller than the denominator, and I'll also look at mixed numbers, where the numerator is greater than the denominator, well, improper fractions and also mixed numbers. And then we'll take a look at an exam question, and I'll set you on your way. So first two examples. We've got two fractions where the denominators are different, and our job is to add these fractions. Now, in order to add fractions or subtract fractions, you cannot add the numerators and denominators when the denominators are different. So the first task is to find the lowest common multiple of the denominators in order to find a common denominator. So we've got the number 3 and the number 5. So if you think about the multiples of 3 and the multiples of 5, there are plenty. There's an infinite number of numbers that are in both times tables. Our job is to find the smallest one. So if you think about the 3 times table, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. Then you've got the 5 times table, 5, 10, 15. 15 is the lowest common multiple. So that's the first task out of the way, is finding that 15. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write two fractions. I'm essentially rewriting both fractions out of 15 instead of 3 and 5. Now, the second thing to ask yourself, once you have that 15, is what did you multiply this 3 by to make 15? We know the answer to that. It's 5. Whatever you do to the bottom, you do to the top. So whatever you do to the denominator, you must do to the numerator. So if I've multiplied the denominator by 3, I must also times the numerator, by 5, I must also times the numerator by 5. 2 times 5 is 10. All I've done there is rewrite the first fraction, but instead of it being thirds out of 3, I've done it out of 15. Ask yourself again, how did 5 become 15? Well, we multiplied it by 3. Whatever I do to the bottom, I must do to the top. So 1 times 3 is 3. Now that you've rewritten both fractions, think about it. You've got 10 lots of 15 and 3 lots of 15. How many lots of 15 is that? It's 13. So it's 13 out of 15. So not lots of, 13 fifteenths. Now, we don't add the denominators. Now think about it like this. If I have a cake or a pizza and I cut it into 15 slices, I've got 10 slices and Joe's got 3 slices. How many slices do we have together? We've got 13 slices together. Out of how many original slices? 15. So it doesn't become 13 over 30, it becomes 13 over 15. Now, if you want to pause the video and try the subtraction question, go for it. If you're still unsure, I will go through it in a second. Again, same process. We've got a 4 and a 6. So think 4 times table, 6 times table. What's the lowest common multiple of 4 and 6? You could multiply them together to get 24. That would work, but it would mean you would have to simplify your answer later because that is not the lowest common multiple. So instead, there is another number, and that number is 12. So we've got our two fractions, and we're going to rewrite them out of 12. So what did we do to the 4 to get 12? We multiplied it by 3. Whatever I do to the bottom, I have to do to the top. So 3 times 3 is 9. Move to the second fraction. What did I do to 6 to get 12? I multiplied it by 2. Whatever I do to the bottom, I do to the top. 1 times 2 is 2. Again, I've got 9 slices of pizza. Joe's got 2. The difference between us is 7, but it's still out of 12 slices. So 7 over 12. And there you go. That's how easy it is to add proper fractions. When we have improper fractions, or in this case, mixed numbers, we first have to convert them to improper fractions and then go through the same steps as we did for the last ones. So if we take a look at this first one. Now, I have a YouTube short on how to convert between mixed numbers and improper fractions. So if you haven't seen that, pause this video, go ahead and watch that, and then come back, and this will make so much more sense. So first of all, 5 times 3 is 15. Add the 2 gives us 17 over 5. Do the same for the second fraction. 7 times 4 is 28. Add the 3 gives us 31 over 7. Now, we're faced with that same problem as before, where the denominators are different. So our task is to make them the same. So think about 5 and 7. Lowest common multiple of 5 and 7 is 35. So I'm gonna now write my new fraction out of 35 and out of 35. So we want to ask ourselves, how did 5 become 35? Well, we multiplied it by 7. So we multiply 17 by 7, which is 119. 7 multiplied by 5, so we need to do 31 multiplied by 5. 31 multiplied by 5, should be able to do this in my head. 155. I didn't do it in my head. I used a calculator, but no issues. And then we add them. So 119 plus 155 gives us 274 out of 35. Now, we need to convert this back into a mixed number. So again, if you haven't seen the YouTube short on how to convert between these two, go ahead and watch that, and then you'll know exactly how to convert this. So how many 35s go into 274? It's going to be 7. And then the remainder is going to be 29. So 7 whole numbers, and 29 out of 35. And there's your answer. So if you want to pause the video and try the next one, go ahead, but I will go through it. Okay, same process, and I've just realized I've written the question wrong. 6 and 3 over 3. Let's change that. It's 6 and 2/3. So again, same process. 3 times 6, 18, plus the 2 gives us 20 over 3. Same for this one. 2 times 3 is 6, plus 1 gives us the 7. 3 and 2, lowest common multiple. You got it. It's going to be 6. So what did we multiply the 3 to get 6? We multiplied it by 2, of course. You knew that. Times by 2. 20 times 2 is 40. This one was multiplied by 3. 7 times 3 is 21. Subtract. So 40 minus 21 is going to give us 19 over 6. And then convert this to a mixed number. So 6 is into 19. It's going to be 3 and 1/6. And there you go. To finish off, we are going to do an exam question. Now, this question I'm about to show you was taken from, if I can get it to load, doesn't want to work.
2 hours later.
Okay, it's not letting me go to the next page.
1 eternity later.
This exam question was taken from the January 2020 IGCSE exam. Now, the thing about this is it's given you a question, so 4 and 2/3 plus 3 and 4/5, and it's given you the answer. So you've got no choice but to show every stage of your working out. And the mark schemes are quite strict with what needs to be shown. So we're going to do the same process as before. So we'll look at the first fraction and the second fraction, and we'll look at the denominators. Now, the answer can actually give you a clue. So the answer is given in terms of 15. So the fraction is out of 15. That's kind of your clue. So the lowest common multiple of 3 and 5 is actually 15. So we're going to come to that in a second. Now, the first mark is usually given for converting it to an improper fraction. So let's start with that. So 3 times 4, 12, plus 2 gives us 14. Second one, 5 times 3 is 15, plus 4, it's going to give us 19. So that's our first mark. And then we want to convert this into common denominators. So 3 and 5, we already discussed this, it was 15. So what multiplies by 3 to give us 15? What multiplies by 5 to give us 15? And it's just 3 and 5. So the first fraction, we're going to multiply top and bottom by 5. Second one, top and bottom by 3. So 14 multiplied by 5, what's that going to be? 70. And then 19 multiplied by 3, what's that going to be? 57. And then add these together. So 70 plus 57 is going to be 127 over 15. Now, I can already say that, yeah, that's going to be equal to 8 and 7/15, but you have to check. Because imagine you did this and you assumed your answer was correct and it wasn't, you're not going to get the mark. So just double, triple check that this works. So how many 15s go into 127? It is 8. So we're along the right lines. And if you think about it, 8 times 15 is 120. Al says 127, which means there must be 7 remaining out of 15. And there you go. You've just shown that 4 and 2/3 and 3 and 4/5 adds to give you 8 and 7/15. Thank you so much, guys. Drop me a follow, subscribe, like, all the stuff that you lot do. And I'll see you next lesson.